Well, I cracked open the old Story Bones today and spent a little bit of time looking at Act 3. I was copying from my old spreadsheet that I did so many months ago. It's coming up on almost a year since I had this crazy idea to start writing. And I feel like um, I feel like I know a lot less now than I felt like I knew then. Um, which probably means I'm actually starting to learn, maybe. Anyway, it was interesting though going through that breakdown because there's cases where I called it a breakdown. It was the whole spreadsheet where I had the acts and sequences and beats, what I called beats back then, and I had beats that were like so and so did this. That was my beat. And I was like, oh my goodness, like how is that a story? That's a fact. Anyway, I kind of just transferred him over into the new format today, and you still need to go back and figure out how to like resurrect the ideas I had when I wrote it and try and capture them as actual. Oops! Oh, my heater just turned on. Thought I turned it off, but I think I turned it up. Anyway, another thing has been kind of bumping through my head. Just, I guess, maybe having had a little bit of time to think after the new year came about, and I don't know, maybe there's this sense that the world's going to get better now. I don't know if it will, um, but it gives you time to think and reflect. And one thing that's kind of come up for me is this idea. I started out writing initially. My incentive wasn't, ooh, I want to be a screenwriter, or I want to make movies, or it was actually literally born from the idea that I knew I wanted to get involved with cinematography and storytelling some way. I didn't really know how, but I had some camera gear, and I thought, ooh, let's use all this to shoot a little show or a story about some kids, and it would be my kids that I shot, and it would be me and my wife, and then we have these family friends, and they'd be part of it. And I just write something. It's fun and simple, and no complex effects or anything, so we can just do it and edit it, and people will think it's cool. Maybe it'll be really cool. Maybe people will enjoy it. So I wrote this thing really fast, and oh, you've heard that bit of the story. But I think that what maybe left me feeling sad a little bit was I was actually really excited about doing this with my kids um, and their friends. And the story is, they were the perfect age for this story I had. And the story continues to develop now a year later, but so do all these kids. They're not staying kids, they're growing up, and they should. But I think near the end of last year, kind of came to this realization that I have so much to learn, and I could rush to try and do that thing, like tell a story using my kids at this age, which probably I wouldn't really get the whole story out even, and it wouldn't be that good. It wouldn't be the story in my head. I wouldn't have developed the skills necessary to capture it. Or I can let that go and focus on the story and learning and growing. And I think I'm actually a little sad about, not necessarily sad for the choice that I made, but sad that I couldn't have them both right. It would have, I think, been really cool. Um, I suppose there's other stories to tell if my kids want to do some kind of acting, and that can happen. And of course, I'm still enjoying being their dad and all that good stuff. But I think it's been interesting for me to reflect on some of the incentives and the actual goals that were compelling me to move forward with screenwriting at the time. And it's cool that it turned into discovering that I really enjoy it and want to get better at it. While at the same time losing the actual original incentive and having to let it go. So, um, add that to the fact that I feel like I'm even further from success than I've ever been, and I'm busy and don't have as much time as I want. And it's not even just about the time, it's just the struggle of getting my head around it in a deeper way, in a compelling way. It's not it's not easy. And it's not like I feel like I'm massively stuck or anything like that. I really haven't experienced that too much. It's just that each time I iterate, and sometimes many times I don't even finish an iteration on the concept before I learn something new, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to reprocess it with this in mind. And how many times does this happen before you finally finish it? And I'm not hopeless that I'll get stuck in that loop and never finish it. I actually am very hopeful and excited about it. And I actually really like the idea of letting it be something that I polish until I'm proud of it, and that other people enjoy it. And it's okay if it changes, because what I'm really trying to capture isn't just a specific story that's in my head. It's a sense of adventure and wonder and these things, that experiences that feel a certain way that these characters would experience, and that hopefully the audience would experience watching them. And so it's okay for that to all develop and grow, and I enjoy that process. Anyway, sometimes though I do wonder, like, if I'm a little distracted by making the Storybones tool, then I start writing and I'm like, I love how this lets me think about this, but there's so many things I can't do. Like, I can't actually organize my beats yet. I need to add that feature, and I don't know. I think it may be important to acknowledge some of these losses along the way, and maybe some of these failures along the way. I started recording these videos because I knew I was setting out on a journey that I didn't know. I was setting out on a journey that I knew was probably a lot more complicated than what I could see at the time. If I thought it was as quick and easy, as I actually really didn't know why it wasn't easy at the time. If I had not perceived that it was probably different than I could see, I probably wouldn't have started recording, because what's there to tell? And I actually wanted to set out to capture my experience from week to week, or lately every other week. Yeah, just to let it be a thing, a record of the process. Um, it's not like a bunch of people are following me on this, and I guess I imagine someday maybe there's somebody that bumps into it that's got a similar interest, maybe even not even a similar one, just something they're learning, and maybe it's interesting as a record to see how somebody went through that experience of learning. Maybe nobody will ever discover that. I don't know. But supposing that somebody does, and finds it worth their time to watch an incredible amount of me talking, maybe it'll be me processing it. But yeah, I guess I look back and I wonder how much of my early, like, processing and thinking and trying and confidence that I was doing something, how much of that might come across to someone else as knowledge. Why is my phone buzzing? Yeah, just the confidence that I portrayed. I hope that that the people watching it maybe have more wisdom than I, or at least don't stop there to realize that the journey isn't about quick success. I imagine it's pretty obvious to people looking from the outside that I wasn't quickly successful. But I think that I, from inside, at times really truly believe that I had I had accomplished something noteworthy. That's interesting to me. There's a lot more things I will set out to do in life. A lot of things I've set out to do in life, and the journey always seems to be the same. This, woo, I'm great. Oh my goodness, I'm totally crap. And then slowly climbing up the slope of actual learning and actual skill. That's where I'm at. Just a reflective update, I guess. Yeah, I'll keep reporting. I think that'll continue to happen on a periodic basis, and I'm not going to stop writing. I have no intention of letting that go. I think this is just another day, another update in the process. If you're watching this, maybe stop watching for a little bit and go climb over your hill of everything's awesome and get down into that valley and start climbing the other side where the real learning happens. Don't give up. Hang in there. I'm going to do the same. Anyway, this is Bootstrap Cinema, where I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. Bye, George. See y'all on the flip side.